We are MAP Syndicate number 5, face-to-face at the University of Witwatersrand under the WITS Business School. And our presentation is on digital transformation technology, more particularly on digitalizing Eskom as an entity. The content of our presentation will have the introduction. We'll have a section on identifying the problems. We'll have another section on introducing smart remote services, on digital maintenance management, on e-procurement, on system requirements, and lastly on the conclusion. In order for us to illustrate this presentation, we will give a brief background on Eskom, its existence, and why is it we have identified these particular problems with the power supply. More than 90% of the energy supplied to a variety of consumers in South Africa and the Southern African Development Community, SADC region, is produced by Eskom using inputs from the natural environment, including coal, nuclear, fuel, diesel, water, and wind. The system operator, eventually to be known as the Independent Transmission and System Market Operator, or the ITSMO, as the transmission business continues to be legally separated, is required to keep the electrical system's frequency at 50 Hz to balance electricity supply and demand in real time. For purposes of this discussion, it is pertinent to outline the pestle and SWOT analysis of Eskom, respectively. In terms of the pestle analysis, the below will be discussed looking at the political, economical, technological, legal, and environmental influences on Eskom. In terms of the political influences, Eskom currently has major political issues in terms of influences from the government. This is mainly due to the fact that Eskom has the government of South Africa as its sole shareholder. Furthermore, the government of South Africa does not have the best reputation in relation to appointments and tender allocations. In terms of economical issues, Eskom has various companies that it uses as middlemen in the supply of electricity. The government remain the sole financial beneficiaries of these relationships, wherein there are various investigations of mismanagement of funds in place currently. In the technological aspect, there is a lack of innovative technology that regulates the supply of electricity through communication with the infrastructure in place, which is not serviced as often as it should. There is further not enough security measures in place that would curb the rising cable thefts affecting power supply. In terms of regulations, there are many laws in place that regulate the use and supply of electricity. Mainly, there is the National Energy Regulator of South Africa, NERSA framework, and the Electricity Regulation Act 4 of 2006. In terms of the environmental aspect, currently Eskom uses coal to make electricity, and this has a negative impact on the environment as it is a huge contributor to the air pollution and the global crisis in terms of global warming. We found it very important as well to look at the SWOT analysis as mentioned above, and this will be done through looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in Eskom. In terms of the strengths, there is a great deal of research happening around the use of coal and technology. Eskom provides electricity not only to South Africa but neighboring countries as well. In terms of its weaknesses, there is a lack of infrastructure that is serviced as regularly as it should, and furthermore, that is secure. Another disadvantage, which translates into a weakness, is that Eskom is solely owned by the government. In terms of the opportunities that are available for Eskom, there are independent producer procurement programs that Eskom could get involved in. Furthermore, there's an opportunity to do away with coal and produce electricity using less polluting fuels like oil, nuclear energy, natural gas, and renewable energy. And in terms of the threats that are affecting Eskom, in the power supply is transmission and distribution network systems, which would communicate regularly to the systems and infrastructure in place. Notwithstanding the many problems being faced at Eskom at the moment, we've identified a few issues that are very much relevant to our presentation. As such, there is a lack of maintenance management in terms of the plant downtime, there's insufficient tracking and monitoring of the same, and there's insufficient planning when it comes to the implementation of the above. Looking at the service tendering system, we've identified that there's a lack of procurement transparency in tender allocations. With that, there is an increased sense of corruption, which then contributes to the appointment of substandard service providers, which ensures the substandard service provision in electricity supply.
So, as a team, we recommend a solution called SRS, in full smart remote services. What is SRS? It's a process aimed at assisting power plant operators, distributors, and dispatchers to centrally monitor and control power generation assets with a predictive asset analytics software that uses the best available digital technology. So SRS will be used for continuous real-time remote monitoring, support, and maintenance of Eskom's main plant equipment. So what are we hoping to get out of this SRS? We are hoping to provide continuous real-time monitoring of software and hardware to proactively detect potential issues. We are wanting to increase main equipment uptime through proactive remote support options, and we want to enable a remote delivery of software updates and upgrades to help maximum equipment performance. And we want to use SRS to support prompt resolution of issues through timely access to live technical support. And this will also help to predict possible component failures in advance and keep us abreast of our plans. So how will this SRS work? SRS will monitor over 8 critical components of each plant to enable proactive repairs that support peak performance. It will predict possible component failures in advance and initiate workflow-friendly service scheduling to enable uninterrupted routine operations. So how will we connect it? Firstly, we'll connect it to LCM, and then the DCS, and then from there the SRS software will reside on an IT platform, so more cloud-based, and then the software at the SRS will be at the network of Eskom at a facility where they usually have a room full of PCs and all the IT platforms. And this will be connected together with all the monitoring system for the plant equipment. And this will be forwarded to the SRS system for monitoring. So, what is SRS differentiating factors? What differentiates it from what Eskom has got already? It's its ability to obtain equipment data quickly, and it's a key advantage of SRS. So there'll be no more waiting for an on-site technician to arrive and assess an issue. SRS will allow Eskom's technical department to do assessments remotely prior to dispatch so that the technicians will already be appraised of the situation and have necessary data and replacement parts on hand upon arrival at a faulty site. So, what is the value add for Eskom? It will connect the workers, technicians, dispatchers, and all of that. It will attract new generation of workers. Those who are IT gurus will want to work for Eskom. It will enable workforce training. For example, we can have some of our new staff trained via simulation instead of being at a plant. It will make operations more agile and resilient, and it will improve collaborations within different divisions of Eskom, and it will help with the sharing of knowledge. Next, my colleague will take over.
Digital maintenance management. Equipment maintenance is not anything new. Virtually every organization has been ensuring maintenance management since its inception. However, while corrective or reactive maintenance was once commonplace, it has a number of disadvantages with it. Corrective maintenance focuses on fixing problems after they occur, and typically that's it. It does nothing to prevent breakdowns from occurring again. This leads to malfunctions, unplanned machine downtime, higher cost, and premature death of the machinery. Fortunately, most organizations have shifted towards preventative maintenance management digitalization, while organizations previously used binders, paperwork, Excel spreadsheet. SRS help them to digitalize maintenance management process, information, and more. With that being said, let's look at the benefits of digitizing equipment maintenance. It improves the efficiency, improves the decision making, manufacturing periods, and it improve the profitability. Digitalized master production planning. Master production planning is the process that helps manufacture plan which products and related quantities to produce during the certain periods. It is a proactive driving the production process by determining what should be manufactured and what material should be purchased. MRP will help ESCOM in terms of ordering coal as they generate electricity. MRP system will be linked with SRS to prompt the coal supplier about the availability of coal in ESCOM plants. Therefore, procurement department will be notified for approval of order.
E-procurement is defined as a process where the company utilizes the internet to acquire the goods and services it needs to run the business. It varies from the e-commerce in that it utilizes supplier's closed system, which is usually only accessible to the registered users. ESCOM is currently using a manual paper-based system which is open to manipulation as well as fraud. There are various components that covers the procurement which are already outlined in the slides. Let's first look at the management of the indent. This is the initial stage in which the tendering happens, indent creation or requisition creation process takes place. This is followed by a review and the approval of this process. This is followed by the creating of a request for proposal, where it entails the establishment of the commercial certification standard, which draws several potential bidders and encourages them to participate in this business. Thirdly, it follows by the submission of a bid, where bidders are required to register on the procurement system, on the e-procurement system before submitting their bids, which must include all technical information and commercial procedures. Mandatory requirements are to be met before the process goes to the next stage. Fourthly, the system goes to the adjudication of the bids, where the bids are adjudicated through the e-process system. It's then refer vendors for to be selected on the basis of the adjudication. And lastly, or finally, the process will then create a contract for the vendors. The significant benefits of e-procurement can be outlined as savings, which is achieved through built-in cost control and performance optimization technologies, helping to reduce expense and paperwork while increasing efficiency. Fully automated system can speed the process of producing and fulfilling orders. The procurement system also drives the shorter purchase cycles, where the centralized transaction monitoring makes reporting on orders, payment, and requisition easier. The system also enhances the inventory management by allowing the procurement experts to rapidly identify items from preferred vendors with improved inventory system. The e-procurement also enhanced the consolidation of shared data with management and all stakeholders. In addition to the above, e-procurement reduces mistakes and frees up resources. It simplifies the procurement cycles by improving communication between stakeholders and partners. It provides a consolidated platform for monitoring and auditing all procurement activities and procedures. And finally, it provides suppliers, managers, stakeholders, and partners with real-time data. The field of e-procurement utilizes numerous tools and methods. These include the electronic data interchange, also known as EDI. This system allows the exchange of data and information. Another tool that can be used are platforms and apps, where businesses use online platforms such as e-sourcing, e-tendering, as well as e-ordering. The cloud-based ERP and digital methods can also be used. Okay, let's now look at what these proposed systems require from the skills, infrastructure, as well as the security point of view. The SRS, digitalized maintenance, as well as e-procurement will require Eskom to acquire a workforce with critical skills. Generally, the current infrastructure should suffice, except in the case of the SRS, where the infrastructure will require intense capital. However, the return on investment will set this off. Finally, the cybersecurity measures will include data encryption, update of software and hardware, secured password, as well as the staff training.
In conclusion, digitalization can be used as a strategic tool. This requires visionary leaders, creation of competitive advantage. Eskom is currently faced with complex problems. Digital technology presents numerous opportunities for Eskom. Thank you.